So we finally had the announcement today that AMIR Khan's going to fight KELL BROOK in Manchester, February the 19th, I believe it is. And I'm just glad finally it's going to potentially happen. I say potentially because before both of them are actually in the ring, actually squaring off, I don't really get excited for a fight, because anything can happen before a fight is announced and when the fight actually happens. So anyone can get an injury, anyone can pull out, anything can happen that can stop the fight from happening. And the reason why this fight is happening is purely because AMIR Khan has run out of all options. He's not going to get the Pacquiao fight. Pacquiao's retired. Mayweather's been retired for the past 2-3 years, so he's not going to get that fight. The fights that you could have potentially had in Saudi with other fighters, like for example, like the elite welterweights, they're not going to fight him because he's just not good enough to even be in the same ring as them. So the only fight he's got left now is a fight against KELL BROOK. And a lot of people are complaining, they're saying, oh, it's several years too late. And that's right, it is several years too late. But the fact is, right, I think this fight is still going to be a competitive fight. And the fact is, we need closure in a sense, because even though both fighters are past it, they're nowhere near what they once was, and the fight is nowhere near as enticing as if they would have fought in their prime when KELL BROOK was the IBF champion, and I think AMIR Khan at that time wasn't too washed up. If they would have fought then, he had a couple of losses, but he was still considered a world-class fighter. If they would have fought then, I think it would have been a very intriguing fight. But at this point, both of them, their punch resistance is gone. AMIR Khan's been knocked out several times. KELL BROOK in his last fight against Terence Crawford obviously got knocked out. Obviously AMIR Khan fought Terence Crawford and quit, and that's very uncharacteristic of AMIR Khan. AMIR Khan, say what you like about his chin, but he always had a fighting heart. He would have fought until the bitter end. But in the Crawford fight, Crawford, obviously it was a low blow, don't get it twisted, but I think he knew in his own mind where the fight was heading, and so he fought, instead of bearing the embarrassment of getting knocked out again against a fight like Crawford, who's knocked out 11 of his last 12 opponents, who's a finisher. He probably thought, you know what, the most dignified way of me to get out of this situation is to take the low blow and just bow out without me getting knocked out. So he took that get out of jail free card, and in a weird way, that's basically in his own mentality, he quit. Basically, that's exactly what he did. He just decided, you know what, I've had countless battles, and now at this point in my career, there's just no point for me to get knocked out, because I've been knocked out several times. And I'm not criticizing him for that. I mean, he's a human being. There's going to be times when it's not like he's infallible. I mean, every human being is a human being. Even the most game fighter who's got all the heart in the world, if you push him at a certain time in his career, he's more than likely going to quit, because it just happens. I mean, it just happens to all fighters, because fighters before they're fighters are human beings. They're going to have that vulnerability in them. But that's what makes boxing so enticing, because you see these fighters do way beyond what the most normal people would ever do. So yeah, in my opinion, it's the right time for the fight to happen, because even though they're nowhere near their prime, both of them are as washed up as each other. And so the fact is, in my opinion, they should take the fight now, because there's just going to come a time where if they don't fight now, I don't think the fight is ever going to happen. So yeah, in my opinion, I think this is the right time for the fight to happen, and I just think it's the right time for the fight to happen. So yeah, I'm just glad it's happening soon, and I like the fact that it's only around the corner. It's like February the 19th, which isn't too long away. It's only 3-4 months away. So hopefully nothing happens which stops the fight from happening. In my opinion, who wins this fight, I might actually have to go for KELL BROOK, even though he did get stopped by Crawford in his last fight. I feel like if he lands something on Khan, and don't get it twisted, KELL BROOK's going to be training like hell for this fight. I mean, he's wanted this fight for more than a decade, and finally he's about to get it. And he's thinking he needs to take revenge on AMIR Khan for all the stuff that AMIR Khan's done to him, all the messing around, all the stuff that he's done in terms of like saying he's going to fight him and then not fight him, all the times he's led him up the garden path and then decided to fight Canelo instead of fighting him, all the times that he's done that. I I think KELL Brook really wants to get revenge on Khan, and he wants to knock him out viciously. I mean, say what you like about KELL Brook, and to some extent his career has been disappointing to some extent, because he's never actually lived up to the potential that he had. He could have been fighting the most elite welterweights, like the likes of Furman. Obviously he fought Spence, he fought Crawford as well, but like obviously he beat Porter as well, to be fair. But I feel like his career could have been better. I just feel like it could have been so much more if he didn't take that Golovkin fight. But in a weird way, he's got a way to redeem his career and end it on a good note. If he can knock out Amir Khan, then that's a great way for him to end his career. And on top of that, he's going to get a good payday for this fight as well. So yeah, I'm glad the fight is happening, because I feel like we do need closure on this fight. If it never happened, then it would have been like a Junior Witter, Ricky Hatton situation. At least we get to see them in the ring, even though they're not in their prime. I think because they're not in their prime, in a weird way, it kind of makes it more enticing, because you don't know who's going to win. So yeah, from my potential perspective, I think it's a decent fight, and I'm glad that it's about to happen. Hopefully nothing happens that makes it not happen, but at least both of them are signed on a dotted line and are ready to get in there and fight. So yeah, that's just my opinion on this fight. Tell me your opinion. Who do you think's going to win? I think I'm slightly leaning towards KELL Brook, because I feel like he wants it more. I feel like with Khan is already, he has to some extent fulfilled his potential in the sport. But I think with Brook still has like a lingering sense of disappointment when it comes to his own career. Like he feels like he should have done more, but he never did. So yeah, from that perspective, I just think it's finally come time, and I think it's time for them to actually finally do their thing and actually show to the world who they are. So yeah, I can't wait for this fight, and I feel like it's going to be buzzing when this fight happens, if it happens. So yeah, that's just my opinion on this fight. Tell me your opinion. What do you think about this? Do you think it's too late for it now, or do you think we're in a position where I'm glad that it's happening rather than not happening? That's the mentality I have towards it. I rather look at the positive than the negative. At least it's happening, and on top of that, it's not going to be as enticing as if they fought in their prime, don't get it twisted, but the fact that both of them are equally washed up means that something exciting might happen, because both of them can easily get hurt. So it's more likely to be a fight where there's going to be more thrills and spills than if one fighter was really washed up and another fighter wasn't. I mean, in that fight, it's just a massacre. One fight is just going to get knocked out, but in this fight, they're both equally washed up to some extent. I'm still leaning towards KELL Brook, but I think even KELL Brook at this point is a little washed up. So yeah, we're gonna see what happens with this fight, and hopefully it lives up to the hype to some extent. I want it to exceed expectation, because a lot of people are saying that they don't want to see this fight. It's too far gone. Both of them are past their prime. But at this point, I just think I just want it to exceed expectation. I want something to happen which we've never actually seen before. If that happens, then it'll be great. It'll be great. So yeah, that's just my opinion on this fight. Tell me your opinion, and like and subscribe to the channel. I've got a lot more content coming your way. Peace out.